Beautiful. All right, so we're about a minute early. YouTube looking good.
Awesome.
Running.
Beautiful Friday.
Yeah, buddy. Go ahead and pop this out there onto Facebook. And we'll do one more Facebook share to the Infinite Protection Facebook. That way all our people over there can see what's going on.
Which, by the way, Infinite Protection is my favorite name for all of the official partners in the USCCA. Infinite Protection is my number one fave.
Like that one?
Great name.
Well, we didn't want it to stop anywhere, so we said Infinite, right? We took it
Right.
out.
And it can't stop until you're pushing up daisies.
There we go.
It'll carry on from that point.
I was going to use Buzz Lightyear as our logo, but I decided.
Yeah. You didn't want to pay maybe some massive royalties.
Right. So, all right. We're going to go ahead and get started, Michael. If you're ready to go. It's exactly 2:00, and I'm all about let's meet those timelines. It's Friday. I know you don't want to spend all day with us, although that would be great. But so today with us, everybody, on the Infinite Info Friday, we have Michael Parrish. He is the account executive that is our partner for USCCA and Delta Defense. And I'm going to ask him some questions, and we're going to get started. I'm going to have him introduce himself and kind of see, Michael, introduce yourself. Tell us why, what drove you to get involved in this?
Yeah.
Kind of give us a background of what drove you to this, what your background is, and then we'll get started into some of the Delta Defense information.
Awesome. I appreciate it, Nick, and good to see everybody out there through virtual land. But I get that question a lot, Nick, and I think it's an important one to answer. So I'm, long story short, from the Baltimore, Washington area. I'm a retired Baltimore City police officer. And when I was with Baltimore, I was a SWAT team operator. I was also, prior to that, a violent crimes investigator. And just prior to that, I was a Western District Patrol officer. So if anybody out there is familiar with the show The Wire, that's the area of the city that I was policing in. It was a show that was on HBO. But that is what ultimately drove me. That experience is what drove me to become a Delta Defense account executive. And here's why. When I was a police officer, it was my education and my training that, much like yours, I'm sure, Nick, it helped to save my life a number of times in the streets of Baltimore. And when I mean education and training, I'm not just talking about the education and training we got from the police academy. I mean the education and training that I committed to every week after the police academy. So that helped me save my life a number of times. It helped me protect the citizens that I was sworn to serve, which was near and dear to my heart. And then it's also what helped me come home safely to my family every night, which is, of course, important to all of us. And so when I left the department, all of those lessons learned, of course, I never forgot them. When I learned about who Delta Defense was a while back and what they do to help people through the USCCA become more mentally, physically, and legally prepared as protectors, it was a mission that I knew I had to be a part of, because I know how important it is for folks that are going to get their concealed carry permit, or they're going to defend their home, or both, and they could get into a life or death incident. And it's really important for them to be educated and to have training, and to, if need be, have legal protection if they ever have to pull that trigger. So that's what drove me to be here. It's what guides me. It's my passion, and I'm happy to be here today to talk about it.
You keyed in on a couple of things there, actually. The passion piece, that's something we share. Most of our instructors with USCCA do have a passion for this, right?
That's right.
And I say that it's more of a passion of making sure that people get the proper education and training and continue that on their own. And if they don't, they could reach out to us. And USCCA has multiple trainers or instructors throughout the country.
That's
if
right.
You go to usconcealedcarry.com, you can find one near you. So those of you that aren't in this area here of Florida, please jump on usconcealedcarry.com and find a local USCCA instructor, and ultimately talk with one of these people like Mike, and get with Delta Defense. They should be attending the classes as well. And it's very important.
And that's a great point. A great point about that. We'll seize on that. The USCCA, Nick, now has over 5,600 USCCA certified firearms instructors across the United States. And when someone's a member, they could come right into their dashboard. They could type in, like you just said, any zip code or city, and it'll pull up the instructors that are closest to them, and also any classes in their area that are being offered by these instructors. And there's hundreds of USCCA partner ranges across the United States as well. Plenty of resources.
And most of them have Facebook pages. If you need somebody located wherever you are, you can reach out to us at Infinite, and we'll go ahead and find you somebody. It's all about helping the community and making sure everybody stays safe. I think at the end of the day, when Mike touched on passion, that's what we're here for. A lot of people get into this, not a lot, some people get into this for the coin, but I can tell you that the majority of the USCCA instructors are in it for the cause, and that's why we're here. We want to make sure that people are safe out there. We know people that have concealed carries or have firearms that haven't used them, haven't practiced with them, don't know how, and it's extremely important that they learn how, because ultimately you're the protector. So those things do matter when we're talking about this. And we talk about the universal safety rules all the time. And those are the things that we instruct. So education, training, and that's why we're doing it. That's why, we're here. It's the passionate piece of it all. So we talk about Delta Defense, and we're talking about, membership and those types of things. I thought it would be a good time to bring on Michael, because he's the expert, and we're going to go ahead and talk about what that membership means and how Delta Defense blends into it with USCCA, and how you can be a responsible person with a gun. So Michael, if you will, go ahead and kick off the idea of membership and what Delta Defense does, because I think it's amazing. I immediately jumped on, no questions asked, because it makes sense.
Awesome. I appreciate it, Nick. So what I'll do, if I may, is while I'm framing this up, I'll go ahead and share my own Protector Academy membership through the USCCA as we talk through it. So I'll do that now.
Perfect.
So we're bringing out a couple of points about the USCCA. So I think it's important for everybody to know that as it stands right now, as of today, the United States Concealed Carry Association, which is what the USCCA stands for, it's a member organization of closing in on 700,000 members, men and women across the United States. And what the USCCA does is it provides life-saving education, training, and legal resources so that those of us that are protectors of our homes and our families, which is most likely why folks are tuning in, we can be prepared for any act of self-defense before, during, and after, because there's always a before, there's a during, and there's an after. And so this will tie back into why I do this. If someone, through being a member of the USCCA, can be incrementally safer, if they can have a better chance to either avoid a self-defense incident, escape a self-defense incident, and if they have no other choice, if they have a better chance to live through a self-defense incident, then that's something I'm very passionate about. And that's exactly what the USCCA helps us do as members. So what I'll do is I'll just go through what folks get when they become a member. And then as you have questions, Nick, I'm happy to answer them. I can usually get myself back on track. I thought no better way to maybe do this is than to just bring up my USCCA account and show the folks online some of what they'll get when they become a member. It starts right out of the gate with being mentally prepared, right? So everybody who ultimately gets their concealed carry permit, or even folks that maybe just decide that they're going to defend the home if they have to, the question that you always want to ask yourself is, what is my plan to be mentally prepared? What's my plan to train? And again, what's my plan to be legally protected if I ever have to defend my life? And so when you become a member of the USCCA, right out of the gate, you're given access to an online training system, and it's called the Protector Academy. I'm going to pull over to the Protector Academy now. Now in this Protector Academy, which by the way, Nick, it's an automatic benefit. They would have access to it literally the moment they become a member. But in the Protector Academy, there's over 80 life-saving guides. There are over 204 digital courses where we are taught and guided from the comfort of our own home on demand. Everything from, let's say, as you can see here right on the screen, if someone has a AR-15 and they're thinking about using a red dot sight, how do you even get that red dot sight mounted up and on that weapon system? And how do you even zero the red dot sight? And what are some key takeaways for you to use to be able to use a red dot sight effectively? That's in the Protector Academy. There's a whole course on that. Now here, this is a concealed carry series. And you think about somebody who's new to the lifestyle of concealed carry, which is going to be most people that are getting their permit. What kind of gun maybe is best for them to have? There's a whole series on that. For ladies, what kind of holster is the best holster to have? And then if ladies, different than men, wear all kinds of different garments, they wear yoga pants, they wear dresses, they go to work in business suits. So there are some considerations that women have that us men don't necessarily have. There's a whole series about that in the Protector Academy. So it's very important to start that knowledge transfer. Now, there's another course in the Protector Academy called Mastering Handgun Confidence. So here's where we go. The Protector Academy, again, it's a member benefit. It starts to set us on that path to become knowledgeable and to adopt the mindset as a protector and to start thinking through all the elements of what it means to be a protector. Then we have to start to become physically proficient, because you and I both know that while range time is really important, there's a big difference between being at the range and putting shots on a paper target that's not running at us, when we're not scared, we're not having to move anywhere. We're not coming out of our concealed carry holster.
Right, at 3 in the morning.
That's right. No, it's not a bad guy kicking in the door. It's just at the range. Very important from the standpoint of getting familiar with the handgun, but that doesn't translate to working on the skills necessarily that are needed to get through a defensive shoot. So in the Protector Academy, there are a number of courses and qualification levels that help us work on defensive shooting fundamentals. Moving off the X, drawing from the holster, working with low light maneuvers with maybe a flashlight and a handgun, so that if you do find yourself clearing your home for some reason, you can actually take a defensive shot while you also have your handgun if you don't have a tactical light. Anything that we could think of that we would need to work on to be proficient enough to get through a self-defense incident and to have a better chance at doing it, it's going to be in the Protector Academy. And that's all given to us as members. So one thing that I think is really crucial, and we don't really go over this a lot in the meetings, but I'm going to go over it here. If we're ever in a defense incident, to the extent that it's now going to go and get considered for, let's say, court, let's say the district attorney reads the incident report for our self-defense incident, and they decide to charge because we don't know what's going to happen of a defense attorney. The question becomes, what does it mean now as concealed carry permit holders or defenders of our homes? What does it mean to be legally prepared? Because now it's not just about having mental preparation and physical skill, but if we have to use our weapon, we need to be legally prepared. So that's another member benefit. So there's a couple ways that the USCCA legally prepares its members. One is by cataloging every single course we take as members. So all 3 qualification levels, Nick, that I have gone through with the Protector Academy, with the USCCA, it's documented for me. So what does this mean? This means that in level 1, I've completed at a minimum 1 time handgun safety and marksmanship fundamentals. That's done. And the whole course curriculum is loaded up in here. Also, kids firearm safety is in here. Level 2, it's documented. I've completed it. That's defensive shooting concepts. That's, in my opinion, the most important course in the Protector Academy. But everything that I've ever completed, and this would be the same with our members, will be documented for them, similar to a certification at the range with an instructor, basics, AR-15s for anybody that's got AR-15s on the call, you name it. concealed carry fundamentals, situational awareness, what you should do if you're at the range by yourself outdoors, more situational awareness. It's all laid out. But what I also like is you see these milestones of being logged into the Protector Academy. It starts to log how often you've been educating and training yourself. And so why is this all important? Well, if I'm ever in a defensive shoot or a self-defense incident, and if I ever do have to go to court, there's going to be evidence for my education and my training, and it's going to be harder to paint me as somebody who is an irresponsible and unknowledgeable gun owner. This is incredibly important, which was why, as police officers, it was incredibly important that the record of our education and training was there just in case the courts needed to see it. It was much easier to defend us that way. And same thing here, as members of the USCCA, because of the Protector Academy, it's much easier to defend those of us that are members of the USCCA. So
the other cool thing about the level 1, 2, and 3, Mike, is what?
That's right.
We get those little patches.
Yes, we do get the patches, and I
wear them proudly.
1, 2, and 3. Not only do we get the patches, but we get a letter from the USCCA that literally from Tim Schmidt, congratulating you on moving through the levels. And you can just see in his letter just how heartfelt it is for Tim Schmidt, the CEO of the USCCA, for his members to take the training seriously, because he knows how much more proficient you become by getting into all the tools and the resources. Because let's face it, while the USCCA, and we're going to talk about it here in a second, also provides self-defense liability insurance, which is incredibly important to any responsibly armed gun owner, it doesn't matter if we don't make it through the incident. So the most important thing is that we have the education and training to get through the incident. And by the way, everything in the Protector Academy gets updated every month. And in addition to everything that I was talking about, as you know, there is a concealed carry magazine, which I'll point out. And you just think about the significance of this as I'm pulling this up. In the concealed carry magazine for this issue, and there's 8 concealed carry magazines a year, both in print that is delivered to every USCCA member, and also digitally, like I'm getting ready to access here. This magazine on the back quarter, for every other magazine, the entire back quarter is dedicated to women's self-defense. So no longer is it a good old boys network. This is a membership that affects every man in the home, every woman in the home, brothers, sisters, children, you name it. There's something for everybody as a family begins to immerse themselves in the concealed carry lifestyle. Now, this issue here, this month's issue, think about this, and I'll pull this up. The USCCA in the last 2 years went to hundreds of prisons, and they sent surveys to violent criminals. It's called the Predator Project. Series 1 of that Predator Project is in this magazine. Why is that significant? Because these predators, these violent criminals, 142 of them were willing to answer questions about how they pick their victims, what they're looking for when they pick a victim, what kind of person they would be confident enough to try to disarm if they knew that person was armed, when they would be not confident enough to disarm somebody, what kind of physical presence does that person have, what were the people doing when they attacked them. Really revelatory about what a violent criminal looks for when they're going to attack somebody. That is great information to know right out of the mouths and the minds of people that have made it their life's work to victimize people. And that's all in this current issue of Concealed Carry Magazine. And as members, we get 8 of those a year.
Project was something else. I was reading that in the magazine. I'm like, wow, this is kind of cool. Like,
pretty cool, right?
You can't pay for this stuff, right? How long did we study to try to figure this out?
That's right. And so
down with these people.
So it's amazing what you get when you're a member. So we'd be remiss, of course, then if we didn't talk about what we also get as members of the USCCA, which is, let me know if you can see this. I might have to, are you able to see this document, Nick?
Yes. I saw you click perks and discounts. Let me see if it comes up. Yeah, you member only discounts?
Well, I'm actually up on the screen now, so I'm gonna make sure that I'm sharing the right document. So here we go. Boom. There it is. This will come up.
Okay.
Now you should see the document.
Yep, it's there.
All right, great. So I'm just going to give an overview of everything that someone gets when they're a member. So when someone becomes a member, in addition to the Protector Academy and all of the other resources that we're talking about, they're also going to be added, and I'm going to pull this down to here, to the self-defense liability insurance policy that has been provided. That's actually, it's a self-defense liability insurance policy that is owned by the USCCA. They are the policy holder. So for anybody that becomes a member of the USCCA, it's just an automatic member benefit. They're not paying for insurance. They are added automatically as an additional insured to the self-defense liability insurance policy held by the USCCA. Why is that significant? What that means then is, for any of us that are members, for any covered act of self-defense, with our firearm, without our firearm, somebody in the home that's related to us that defends the home when we're not there and they injure or kill somebody, it could be a personal contact weapon, it could be a crowbar, you name it, anything that you might use to defend yourself at any point in life. If it's a covered act of self-defense, meaning you were just trying to defend your life, you're going to have help in criminal and civil court if the need arises. And for anybody that is a member of the USCCA, they automatically have no limit to defense expenses for criminal and civil court. And so why is that significant? Well, that's attorney's fees paid up front. That's discovery fees paid up front. Anything related to the defense of the case, it's paid for up front with no limit. That is huge, because you and I both know the average retainer will swing back over now if you're using your firearm. If it's a firearm self-defense incident, the average retainer is $50,000 to $100,000. That's the retainer. And then the hourly rate for an attorney who's defending you in a firearms related self-defense incident is $500 plus. There's a member up in North Carolina, 2 years ago, he defended his life justifiably and the life of his 8-year-old daughter and his ex-wife. He had to shoot a defensive shot at a guy who was getting ready to hit him in the head with a crowbar. He put the guy down when he was about 3 feet from where he stood. But even so, this gentleman racked up $68,500 worth of legal fees just to defend himself. USCCA helped to take care of that, so he wasn't exposed to it. But the bottom line is that was an average of about $500 a day, because that case for him lasted about 5 months. So the question is, do we have $50,000 to $250,000 earmarked for self-defense expenses if we ever have to use our weapon or defend our life? And so the answer for most people is no. So if you have a USCCA membership, that would be paid for upfront. It's not something you'd have to worry about for any covered act of self-defense. Now, the other side of this is that if we do get past the criminal side, if we've injured or killed somebody's family member, then that family member could swing around, or the family themselves could swing back around. In many states across the United States, the statute of limitations for civil suits is 2 to 3 years. So now we could be faced with a civil suit just for defending our life. And so in that case, there's $2 million annual liability for any civil damages that could be awarded against us simply for trying to protect our life or the life of someone we love. That's just an automatic member benefit. Cost of bail expense, incredibly important. If it's a bond state, that's $1 million worth of bail. Incidental expenses. If anybody's ever had a defense incident or ever seen a crime scene, if you do have to defend your life in your home, it's not just Windex that's going to clean that up. That's going to be a major event. It could mean the floors have to be replaced, but incidental expenses will take care of that. And then also, Nick, on incidental expenses, again, just by being a member, if there's a covered act of self-defense and our weapon does not come back to us, this policy can help pay for that weapon, same make, model, and caliber, through these incidental expenses as the one that we use to defend our life. And then I don't know about you, if we're in court and we can't go to work, it sure would be nice to have income replacement. Well, with a USCCA membership, there's up to $750 a day for income replacement if we're ever in court defending ourselves. And this is all just an automatic benefit of being a member. So when you start to stack it up, the Protector Academy, all the education, all the guides, all the training, all the qualification levels, the Concealed Carry Magazine, free entry to the USCCA Expo every year. In addition to that, the self-defense liability insurance benefit. It really is, for anybody who wants to really have a better chance to survive an incident and be prepared if they have to use their weapon, it's a no-brainer. So with that all in mind, what I'll do is I'll just, for the folks on this call, and then as they look at it in the future, I'll just go through the membership levels. When someone becomes a member of the USCCA, they have a choice between 3 memberships: Gold, Platinum, or Elite. All 3 levels of membership have the same self-defense liability insurance benefit that I mentioned. No limit for defense expenses, $2 million annual liability, bail expense, income replacement, incidental expenses. That's all the same. What someone's deciding when they become a member of the USCCA is what level of education and training, and they really want to be honest with themselves here. What level of education and training do I feel gives me the best chance, where I personally am in my self-defense journey, to protect my life or the life of someone that I love if I ever have to use my weapon in an act of self-defense? And so with that in mind, I always direct people to Platinum and Elite. Platinum and Elite are the 2 most popular levels in the USCCA. Now, Platinum gives someone the vast majority of what the USCCA provides: 118 lessons, 40 guides, the 5 years of issues of the Concealed Carry Magazine, and then they get levels 1 and levels 2 in the qualification levels. So that means they have handgun safety and marksmanship fundamentals. They also have the defensive shooting concepts course. Those 2 levels are really important levels. And so I always recommend, at a minimum, someone starts at Platinum. But if someone really wants to commit to the lifestyle of a concealed carry permit holder, the lifestyle of being a protector and be the best that they can be, that's really the best way to look at it, I always recommend Elite, because the Elite membership provides everything that the USCCA offers. That means 204 lessons, and every new lesson that comes after that, all micro lessons that are video lessons where you're interactively guided through the material and you're participating in the home. 80 guides, the complete archive of the Concealed Carry Magazine, and all of the qualification levels, to include emergency preparedness and a very important course, which is the laser train course. This is where you're able to use a SIRT pistol, that shot indicating reset device, pistol. It's a very high level training course that people can use to work on moving off the X in the home, working on their defensive shooting skills in addition to the defensive shooting concepts. That laser train course is really a phenomenal course. So again, for anybody that really wants to have everything that the USCCA provides, it is the elite level that they want to be. So let's frame our thinking as it relates to costs. It's either $29 a month at Gold or $299 a year. It's $39 a month at Platinum or $399 a year. And if you want Elite, it's $49 a month or $499 a year. This is tantamount to 95 cents a day at Gold. If you're a Platinum member, it's basically $1.25. And if you are an Elite member, it's $1.61 a day. All of those, by the way, are significantly less than us going to Starbucks every day for a program that can help us have a better chance to protect ourselves and our family members. Now, lastly, and this is really important, if we ever are in an act of self-defense, hopefully and thankfully we get through that incident in one piece. And after we've called 911 and the police are on the way, we have access to a very important tool, which is the critical response team. The critical response team is an in-house team where there's a number on the back of our membership card. It goes directly to the critical response team, which is actually a Delta Defense team at headquarters. They're available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And they're there for us as members to guide us through the aftermath of any self-defense incident. We're going to go directly to this person, not through a switchboard. We're going directly to the critical response team. And if need be, they're also able to dispatch one of over 1,200 USCCA certified attorney or criminal defense attorneys. There's 1,200 in the United States. There's 121 right here in Florida. And all of these benefits that I'm talking about, which are a lot for us as members, they're available in all 50 states and all US territories. So if it doesn't, and what makes it even better is the USCCA provides what they call a bulletproof guarantee. So for anybody that becomes a member, they're able to, from now to 365 days from the day they become a member, they could test drive this whole program. And if for some reason or no reason at all, they decided they didn't want the membership or they wanted to just kind of go at the concealed carry lifestyle on their own, they could call the USCCA, Nick, and they can get every single penny of what they put in back, every single penny, a 100% money back guarantee. So there literally is nothing to lose and everything to gain. And if someone does want to become a member, they could even actually, from this broadcast, whether now or recorded, they could snap that QR code from their internet-enabled device. And then they're going to see a code requirement come up, and all they're going to do is put IP in the code, and then it'll take them to the membership options just by having that QR code snapped from either their smartphone or their iPad. So I'll pause there because there's that. Any questions you have, I'm happy to tackle
them. No questions, just because I've been through it, so I understand it. I was looking for questions in the chat. It doesn't appear that anybody has any in the YouTube chat. I will check the social media ones here in just a second. But you know, you hit on so many very important things. First of all, you don't have to be a concealed carry adult to get the membership. You can still get all this training without having your concealed carry permit. It's good training. It's definitely worth it, and it might inspire you to become a member of the concealed carry lifestyle. But that would be up to you. But there's so many home defense and just it's knowledge piece, right? It's very important to just get the knowledge down and understand it. Most of the students that I've talked to, and I know you've probably had the same experiences, over the course of time, they want to be in, they don't just want to have the firearm, because once you explain what that means, you have to be much more responsible and deter a lot more when you're concealed carry.
That's right.
You're now at a different level of responsibility, because you can't just get out and step in that bar brawl or in a parking lot and be confrontational. You have to carry yourself with a little bit more respect.
That's
and
exactly.
when things happen and you get in a situation where you have to defend yourself due to a threat, you've got this. As long as you do the right thing, you've got this on your side. And with the training, you will probably put yourself in the right situation at the right time and know that you have this in your back pocket when you need it, if you need it. And hopefully you never do, but at least the education piece you'll always have. And what's cool about it is you can always go back and retake the training. So if you do that level 1, level 2, level 3, you can always go back in and retake it, refresh it, and understand it, and go back and just kind of look at the actual education piece as you're moving through.
That's a great point, Nick. I run through 2 of the 7 courses in the qualification series every month, and the 2 that I run, the live fire that I run the course, and then I run the live fire once a month. It's just a matter of repetition, because of course, as we know, repetition is what gets us to a high level of skill in everything that we do. But I run the handgun safety and marksmanship fundamentals course because, again, I'm sure we'd all agree, it tends to be that someone who becomes really good at what they do, they get really good at fundamentals. So at the end of these courses, there's a live fire sequence that you can take to your USCCA partner range. And you can run that live fire sequence. Now you can run it by yourself and then just let the staff know you're running it, or you can run it, preferably if you're not experienced with firearms, you can run it with a USCCA certified instructor that'll also be at the range, or set a day with someone like Nick who can help you out as well, one of our official partners, but I run that one, and I also run the defensive shooting concepts course, and I run the course and I run the live fire sequences once a month, because it's a perishable skill. And I'm no different. I'm somebody who has a wife and I've got kids, and I know many people that are going to be listening have people they care about and people they love. And this is about being prepared and having the best chance to get through an incident. That's exactly why I love what the USCCA does.
And as a member, you're better prepared to be able to guide and direct your young family members through a threat. So
right.
I can't stress enough. I mean, when I signed up for the membership, I didn't realize how much education came with it. It did blow my mind. And obviously it's got all the extra perks down the bottom that are extremely important in an aftermath or once you've been through a threat. So extremely important stuff. Think about it. It's $1.61 a month or a day is not a lot. So
at the highest level, yeah. If you go get a tall, like, what is it, a venti pike over at Starbucks, you're you're more than paying for a USCCA membership. The other side of it is I always, and you were probably the same way, Nick, as a SWAT guy, we were always, and I know people have heard this saying, but it was something near and dear to us, which is I'd rather have it and not need it instead of need it and not have it. My goal would be, I hope no one on this call ever has to find themselves in a life or death incident. That's a little bit naive if I was to think that could happen, because you and I know that statistically, there are people on this call, whether now or years from now, they or someone they know is going to have to either avoid a self-defense incident, escape a self-defense incident, and God forbid, fight through a self-defense incident. So one of those three things is highly probable. And this just gives you a much better chance to be prepared for all phases of those incidents.
You've hit everything. I just can't stress it enough that people understand what's going on. So, at Infinite Protection, our thing is we train and educate because someone depends on you. Well, if you get involved in a situation and you can't be there to protect the people you're meant to protect, it's all for naught. So not only do you have to get through the situation, but then you want to be back home. I don't want to spend a year, 2 years, a day in jail. So, a typical incident, those things happen. You're going to lose your firearm. You'll go through booking. Those are typical. But I don't want to spend a minute more in a jail cell than I have to. So that's why that $1.61 to me is worth every penny. I've been to jail. I don't like it. And I've been to jail too many times, but obviously, ex-law enforcement, I've been there for those reasons, but I never want to be on the other side of those bars, man. I just don't. And it's something that I have a fear of. And this helps me sleep better at night, knowing that I have this on my side if I ever need it. Hopefully I never, ever do, but it's that peace of mind. And, it helps me understand and also know that my family is going to be fine. If an incident does happen, I will be home.
So one last thing, Nick, and I was remiss in not bringing it up, but for the folks that are going to be the percentage of the folks that are in that concealed carry lifestyle or who are going to become part of that concealed carry lifestyle, as a USCCA member, you're also going to have a reciprocity tool that you can operate from your phone. And as you're traveling, if you move, let's say from Florida up to Alabama, meaning as you're traveling from one state to the next, the tool will actually ping you, and then it'll give you the brand new gun laws in the area that you're traveling in, as well as the concealed carry protocols of the state that you're traveling in. So you can always make sure that you're in compliance. It's a really cool tool. So just
keep piling it in, Mike. Pile the backpack up. We got so much stuff in that backpack right now.
Stuff in the backpack. So I'll
and you get a free gift, right?
Yeah. Yeah. If you sign up either Platinum or Elite, the USCCA gives you a free gift, which is pretty cool. And who doesn't like free gifts?
Right.
I know that it's amazing I'm here for the education and the training as a member and the legal protection, but I didn't realize that I was still like a kid on Christmas, that I still like free gifts.
I know you were telling me how giddy you were over those patches, level 1, 2, and 3. I
Yeah.
love that story because I related to it, man. I really did. I related to it.
Not silly for a guy who went through multiple SWAT schools and railway interdiction school and got awards and this and that. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm 50 and I'm looking for some excitement now, but I got those patches after each qualification, as well as the letter from Tim. It meant a couple things. It meant that the company was very serious about preparing its members and it was important to them. But it also meant what? It meant that it was an indication of the training that I took. It's a reminder. And it'll be the same reminder for everybody that's on this call. And we're all part of at the end of the day, when it really boils down to it, we're all the same in that we all have the intense desire to live and to not be harmed by someone. And if it comes down to it, I know everybody on this call who tunes in now and tunes in later, in their heart of hearts, will do everything that it possibly takes to defend the life of someone they love if they have to. And so why not be more prepared for that?
That sums it up right there. So I don't see a whole lot of questions coming through. And I'll just say that if you guys do have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us on Facebook, Infinite Protection, our website, infiniteprotectionincorporated.com, and our email, infiniteproinc, nick@infiniteproinc.com. And if you guys come up with anything else, let us know. Watch for future training. And Michael, I want to thank you for taking time out of your Friday to spend with us. Really enjoyed it, as I always do when you hop into our classes and stuff. We appreciate it, and we'll hopefully be talking to you soon.
Yeah, and I appreciate you, Nick. You're a fantastic official partner with the USCCA, and we're grateful. The USCCA is grateful to have partners like you. So good speaking to everybody virtually. If you have any questions, please reach out to Nick, and perhaps I'll meet you guys at some point in the not so distant future.
All right. Hang out, Mike. We're going to go ahead and shut this down, and I'll be right there. But guys, remember, at Infinite Protection, we train and educate